ओके जी। राम राम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, सत श्री अकाल, गुड मॉर्निंग, वेलकम दोस्तों। आज बात करते हैं अपनी ये जो बीच में कुछ प्रॉब्लम चल रही है अपनी इंडिया में, देश विदेश की। और इसके अलावा अभी जो सबसे बड़ा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है वो चल रहा है रशिया और यूक्रेन का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट। कल मेरे किसी खास दोस्त से मेरी बड़ी देर तक बात हुई इसके कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के ऊपर। चूंकि वो रशिया से हैं, लेकिन वो रहने वाली हैं यूक्रेन की। तो कुछ एक लंबी डिस्कशन कल हुई और उन्होंने भी ये बोला कि इन केस इफ इट इज पॉसिबल, अगर हो सके तो आप थोड़ी सी हमारे बारे में ये बातें बताएं कि हम क्या सोचते हैं इसके बारे में। और एज शी डज नॉट अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी, इनको हिंदी समझ में तो थोड़ी बहुत आती है, बोल नहीं पाती, तो उन्होंने ये बोली थी ये बात कि आप इसको एक्सप्लेन करना थोड़ा अपने लैंग्वेज में। तो मतलब उनकी जो बातें हैं वो मैं सेम टू सेम आपको बताता हूँ इधर थोड़ा सा ट्रांसलेट करके। और इसको मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि इंग्लिश में ये बताऊं, क्योंकि अब ये हमारी तो कॉन्वर्सेशन हिंदी में शुरू हो गई। लेकिन मैं चाहूंगा दोस्तों की बात समझें आप। ये किसी देश की अपनी एक ऐसी चीज है, मतलब कहीं ना कहीं से उनकी पूरी जिंदगी लाइफ चेंजिंग इवेंट है एक तरह से। ये जो पीछे से जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जो ये चल रहा है, इस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट की वजह से एक नहीं ऐसे हजारों और लाखों और करोड़ों लोगों की जिंदगी बदल गई है, चेंज हो गई है। कुछ इससे बहुत ज्यादा परेशान हैं, कुछ दुखी हैं, और कुछ कम लोग ही खुश हैं। लेकिन दुखी और परेशान लोग इसमें ज्यादा हैं। और कुछ एक लंबी कॉन्वर्सेशन मेरी उनसे इस बारे में भी हुई कि इंडिया में क्या चल रहा है आजकल के, जैसे कट्टरपंथ का मामला चल रहा है इंडिया में, और आजकल की जो किलिंग्स चल रही है उसके बारे में भी उन्होंने ध्यान खींचा। लेकिन मुझसे ये बोला कि ये जो आप बातें करेंगे हमारी कंट्री के बारे में, उसको आप इंग्लिश में समझाएं, ताकि और लोगों के पास पहुंच सके। हो सकता है उनकी आवाज और यहाँ यूएस में या रशिया में ये उनकी आवाज पहुंच सके। So guys, let's start in English. Just to, it's like a contribution from my end for my Russian friend. She's actually from Ukraine, and I had a long conversation with her, at least for almost more than 1 hour. More than 1 hour, we had the long conversation about the same. And what she was talking about, that the issue which has been actually happening over here, it's not just about Ukraine, and it's not just about Russia. This is the problem actually, which was expected earlier. Means these people were expecting that the same issue is going to happen any moment of time if they would take such necessary action for their, for their country. Means each and every country is free, right? There is no foundation for anybody. So every country tries and flies for his for its color, or for development. So the same issue was with Ukraine as well. And if you talk about Ukraine, Ukraine is kind of country which was you know uh, doing well in medical. It was doing well for wheat and other things, for export and import. Both things were okay. Both things were actually good, not just okay. It was like they've been doing it for really very long time, for a couple of years. Not just couple of years, means from like for a couple of decades they've been doing it, and they were just doing for the welfare, not just about them, for other countries. However, side by side, if we talk about the same country that was part of USSR earlier, that is very true. So what usually happen is when they try to claim themselves as a free country, so that moment of time, country like Russia says that as you are so right, means as you are a neighboring country, so we cannot allow you to join our like enemies. So they did not expect and they did not want them to join NATO, as it's very clear. It's like it's very clear that Russia has been mentioning this for last 7 or 8 years, right? Everyone knows about it. It's not a new concept. Everyone knows that Russia has been telling that people so and so the reason is. But if we really talk about Russia for past couple of years, whatever countries condemning or denying their what we can say, not obeying, if we can say, or not following their rules and regulations, that moment of time what Russia does, Russia takes over on those countries. So all other small countries, like not just Russia, if I talk about the Ukraine, Finland, if we talk about these now, if we talk about new enmity, it's like from Finland. Finland is on the same path. Finland is saying that I'm not going to be part of Russia anymore. I'm going to be part of NATO. So maybe they may be facing the same kind of consequences. That's not a big deal. But here, what we are talking about the consequences and the issues which Ukraine is being facing. So for yesterday, if I talk about, as per the lady, she was saying that we did not have any intention to join NATO or any ally or any in a group which is not supporting Russia or against the Russia. But being like a free country, we are for free trade and some other reason, some personal reason, we decided to be like an individual rather than acting like a part of Russia or something. But at the same point of time, she was telling me that what Zelensky is doing, he is taking help of everyone and asking for help, yelling at everyone, blaming US and other countries that they asked him to do and get involved in this war, and now these people are not there. But if I really talk about, means what she meant to say, she was saying that even that US is supporting Ukraine, or UK is supporting Ukraine. But what they are doing, they are just giving the supply, means they are just giving the weapon, they are just giving some financial support, or they may be giving some like medical aid, or they giving the moral support. But if we talk about the victim, so it's like Ukraine is getting penalized for everything, which is somewhere very true. If we talk about all other countries, like if we talk about Boeing and other like companies who actually sell artillery or weapon, so their shares are like going quite high. They are making money, and in other different countries, they are offering, or they are going for new weapons. They are buying it from US. But if side by side, if we talk about Ukraine, it's just getting destroyed. It's just getting destroyed, and it will take at least couple of decades to overcome from this situation. Why? Because Russia is not just trying to win them; they are trying to destroy them. All the cities, and she was actually from Kiev. She said that when I was in Kiev, even some of our friends, or if you check, you will get to know that the people who were actually there in Kiev, they had like kind of good experience over there. And if you talk about the people from India, people are like, yes, one more thing, pupil, if I talk about the students who are actually doing their MBBS, or are trying to be a doctor, or wanted to be a physician, and they were studying there. Now there's like, it's like they do not have any option. Like nobody is raising any finger against this, that the people who are actually who were there in Russia, You got these people back. That is really like put your hands together and clap. But if I talk about the people like 20,000 pupil, means students were there in Ukraine, and now these students do not have any option. Why Indian government is not giving them any option, like any kind of suggestion or any kind of fulfillment or refreshment or any kind of option, like to complete the MBBS or try to be a doctor. The people who were completing their MBBS from Ukraine, now these people are not doing nothing, just sitting idle because they do not have any option over here in India. So why this Indian government is not doing anything on that? Now, nobody asked them to go to Ukraine and learn everything like the way Indian government has stopped acknowledging the like what do education system if we talk about, and the degree from Pakistan that is not recognized in India anymore. They're saying that they are not going to entertain it anymore, and which is well said. Somewhere it's like most of the people who are getting trained over there in Pakistan or somewhere or in neighboring countries, they've been poisoning in ears somewhere. However, if we talk about country like Ukraine, so there should be some option. There must be some sort of option available for these youngsters who actually spent like 1 or 2 years in Ukraine and completed their studies. And the studies are still not completed. Why? Because of this war. And if I talk about the lady, she was talking to me. She said that we have been training and guiding people for really very long. For last couple of years, there were some issues with Russia, but those people did not give them any option. Means they did not give. They were left with no choice. So now the matter is who is concerned, who is responsible for this, and she was clearly saying that if Russia or Putin was giving the option to join UN, and at the same point of time, he is not threatening. He was just giving you option. If you want to go with UN, that is okay. But it was a request from Russia that do not join NATO. It's their choice, right? Or it's their concern. See, same thing happened over here as well when Myanmar, like our neighboring country, had the issue with China. So we had a concern about this chicken neck. So Indian Army was standing there and making sure that the Chinese people will not be allowed. Same moment of time, if we talk about kind of a security reason for Moscow, because it's like 16 miles, 1600 miles away from NATO. But at the same point of time, if they get the access from from Ukraine, once they get the access from Ukraine, so that would be like 6 or 700 miles, which is easily reachable and approachable. So that might be the concern. That I do not know. I'm just talking about here. I'm just talking about one thing that if Russia was giving you an option to go ahead and join UN, but do not join NATO. So what was the concern? And from the very beginning, if we talk about 1990s, from the 90s, that NATO or other countries have been trying to get connected with all these countries were separated from the country like USSR. Means they were already trying to get connected with these countries because they wanted to be strong. They wanted to show their presence, right? However, at the same point of time, each and every country has its own rights, reserves, and everything means decision to make sure that my country is being secured. So at the same moment of time, Russia has decided to make sure that these people should not or could not, may not, should not be able to get connected or to reach our society or our country or our capital. So what's wrong? First thing. But at the same point of time, if I talk about Russian, these people have been taking over other countries as well for last couple of decades. If I talk about, they crack and they win. Once they win, they take over. So if I talk about like honestly, if I talk about that Russia was just giving them freedom or giving them privileges, at the same moment of time they may have been imposing or they may try or they would have been thinking to impose their own thinking on them. We are not sure. Now, just forget about these things. Now, China is getting into picture. Now, China is supporting Russia somewhere. Earlier, they were like mute spectator. They were not saying anything. Now, the China is getting into means getting involved in this. They are just going for war drills with Russia. The troops are there now. Troops are there, and troops are on the way. And as per, if I talk about as per the updates that they are trying to attack on Taiwan, but I don't think so because attacking on Taiwan, U.S. already said when it was the question. It was a question to President Biden that if China would try to do so, what would be your action? Then it was very clear message and very sound message from Mr. Biden that yes, America will take necessary action. It will get involved. So first of all, that one thing which is actually positive from US right now, that they are standing with Taiwan. However, we are expecting a kind of actual stand with Taiwan because they are not as sound as Ukraine is, because Ukraine had a kind of trained army, the people they were there for backup. But if we talk about Taiwan is just preparing for war, but they do not have that kind of soldier or that kind of strength to defend China directly. So in this case, if President is saying that he is going to support Taiwan, so there must be like a kind of strong action. And if I talk about like non-nuclear submarines are there in South China Sea, and most of the time China claims that the entire sea, or if I talk about the space and the South China Sea area is actually belong to China. So that moment of time, US tries to counter and says that we are here. It's not just you who's going to take care or who's going to roar and who's going to overcome or who's going to take over that South China Sea. It's like if I talk about the circulation of business, if we talk about, or if we talk about the surpass, or if we talk about the space, if we talk about the people who, and one more thing, one very important thing is that it's not just the South China Sea, it's nearby places as well. All nearby places are claimed by China. They are stating and they are saying that it's actually their territory. Whether you talk about Japan, whether you talk about Taiwan, you talk about Philippines, you talk about Indonesia, you talk about any neighboring countries, they are claiming that all this sea water or all these spaces or island or Iceland actually belong to China. What a joke, man. They are saying it's actually their territory. The biggest joke of this decade that China is saying that all these countries and about their you know their places actually belong to China, and they are just like kind of evidence. What evidence they are talking about? The evidences are like 50 or 60 or 100 years old uh, kind of pictures or some sort of books they are referring to, and they are saying that these places actually belong to one China policy. Who's saying no? It's okay there. One China policy is okay. Every country, each and every country has its own decision to make. If they have decided to do something, that is fine. Means they can go ahead and do whatever they want to do. But it is as same as the freedom of expression. When you're going to disturb somebody else, means in your neighborhood or anybody apart from your neighborhood or apart from your country or your known people, now your freedom of expression is gone. Same way, if you're going to disturb other countries, so these countries are not like going to bear everything and would be like mute spectator and will be sitting idle. At least they would be trying to do something like what actually happened in Quad. In this Quad, you understand it, countries like Australia, US, Japan, India, they have made a group of people, a group of countries which is actually against China. I'm telling you very honestly. It's actually against China to counter China. It's not for other things, maybe for other things, but the if I talk about the countering a country, yes, it's actually there to counter a country named China, and that is for sure that by any chance if there would be anything wrong, it's not it would not be thinking about Russia anymore because it's not just about Russia or China. It's about the freedom. It's about the other countries who actually clueless about these things. See, Japan, if I talk about that, when actually they were pressurized, or if I talk about the attack, or we talk about the World War. After the World War, Japan is not doing anything, and the security of Japan is actually in hand of US. So US is taking care of it. However, side by side, if I talk about now, they are looking for their aircrafts, they are looking for their army as well. However, it's like difficult for them. Somewhere, it's not that easy if they are thinking. But here, the only one country which has nothing to do with like peace. These Chinese people have issue with all the neighboring countries, not just neighboring countries, like people who actually too far from them, like US. If we talk about Australia, it's not nearby. They are too far. They're not. They do not share any border. They are far away from China, but the Chinese people still have the issues with them. Chinese have issues with all the neighboring countries. Whether you talk about Nepal, you talk about Sri Lanka. Wow, very important topic is actually Sri Lanka. What actually they did, and now whatever issues are happening over there in Sri Lanka, it's actually, if I talk about the reason is China. China has been providing loans, and side by side, if I talk about China was trying to destabilize their leadership as well. They were bribing them. They were providing them illegal ads. Later on, what actually happened? They destroyed their farmers. Farmers were actually expecting from their government to make sure that whatever foods and logistics which Sri Lanka had would be occupied by them. However, all of a sudden they decided that they are not going to use that what we call it's like slipped from my mind. There was like I just forgot that the name of that product that was actually bought from China, but they did not deliver it. They did not deliver it, and side by side they asked them to make sure that that product should not be prepared by local Sri Lankan farmers. And at the end, what actually happened is they did not get that product, and they just could not do what they were expecting to make sure. And that took like one or more than 1 year, and they destroyed their economy. And they are not just because of China. Apart from that, they were dependent. They were taking loans and paying their people. Like same way with that these days there is a long discussion in India as well, like getting something like free, getting a free electricity or getting a wine bottle over here in Delhi. But if I really talk about this, if I really talk about this, let me tell you one thing here. If I talk about in India, that at least something which is actually free for Indian citizen and getting some sort of benefit. So this not that kind of harm as it's been highlighted by ruling party or highlighted by central government, that they are getting free and free and so things are free. But if I talk about the electricity in New Delhi, let me tell you, like it's like a kind of saving for localite. They are actually saving at least like 2 or 3 thousand rupees in their pocket. And if we talk about some other benefits like a school, schools are actually being changed. The mindset the people had for local schools in Delhi, that's been actually dramatically changed. And now there is one more issue which is being blamed by central government, that there was very less, like 5 or 6 lakh rupees expected expenses for a class, but the ruling party of New Delhi were saying that they spent like more than 20 lakhs on that. So there is a kind of scam happened. Don't get into it. The government agencies will go ahead and find out why and how this has happened. But if we talk about a real benefit here in New Delhi for local people, somewhere rules and regulation, but rules and regulation, if I talk about the law and order is under central government. However, if we talk about the kind of saving which people are getting actually over here, is like a direct benefit provided to local citizen. Like I have not been paying for electricity for a couple of months, but because of air condition, there is a bill. But there is a certain limit. I have not been paying. Same as with all local people. I have not been paying bill. And apart from that, if I talk about the government school, it's been dramatically changed. If you visit to your nearest school, you will find that the people are actually very much changed. And if I talk about the staff, they are changed. They were gone to learn something, and people who were there from people who were there and were not actually considering or you know trying to make sure that the future of students, now they are actually aimed with what would be the future and how they are getting trained. And They are actually being trained in different countries. Now they are trained, and so are they training other people. If we talk about the school stuff, it's been really changed. So many things are actually changed because of Kejriwal. So blaming Kejriwal for everything is not the solution. Maybe maybe some sort of shortcomings, or there may be some sort of issues. However, for all these things, and just blaming Mr. Kejriwal for all sort of shortcomings is not the solution. Now let's cut it short. Just do not get into politics for a while, because here we are just talking about the international topics. And the international topics, if we talk about the international topics, is being almost covered. The Ukraine, yes, the lady who spoke to me yesterday, we actually been talking for really long. And see, I have a social profile as well, a social media profile on different applications, wherein I just talk to people every now and then, just to get their views. Like earlier when we had like Nipur Sharma issue, people had their own concept, their own understanding. So I used to take their feedback as well, means what they are thinking actually. So that was over positive, means they had their own mindset. The people had their own concern, they had their own mindset. So we cannot change it, right? But we can get to know, we can get and we can understand what actually they have been thinking about. Now just forget about that thing as well, because Nupur Sharma issue has been like more than for like it's been keep happening. And if we talk about the extremist people are just keep doing it, and people like Al Qaeda and these people are getting involved in India. See how pathetic situation is. How dumbest asses are here who are talking about these things. Whether we are just like a secular country. Now, one more thing. Now people say that the India is not secular. That was involved near to the 1972 or somewhere in Mrs. Indira Gandhi, got it rectified and updated this word secularism in India. Earlier, we did not have that word anymore, and nobody was talking about this. It just started happening. I just do not understand that before like 2014, were we very close to everything? Means we were actually happy, and we did not have any issues. Why these things are happening today? Why people are just getting that kind of aggressive? That much aggressive. Every now and then there is a killing, and most disaster, if I talk about the disastrous point, is that people who are actually or who were actually good friends for a couple of years or more than a decade, they are getting involved. Come on, man. Do you understand what you are doing? Just sake of your religion or something, you are helping somebody to kill someone, asking to take somebody's life, or helping somebody for any reason, for any so reason. That's not the kind of thing which can be justified by anybody in humanity. If we talk about, that is not at all possible. And these kind of things been happening for a really very long time, and now when the retaliation will happen, or the people will react on it, so that would not be bearable. Try and understand, because it's been happening now. People are thinking about it now. What when they talk, first of all, they try to make sure that whether this person whom I'm speaking is actually from my religion or not. Now people are that much finicky. Now they are thinking that if I'm going to talk something, so I should be discussing that thing only with my religion or with my people. Now people are just getting changed, their mindset is getting changed. And the important part is that it's not for those people who are illiterate. It's I'm talking about the people who are actually moderate and well educated. These people have been thinking about this. And when these people are thinking about this, it means then you can understand what the illiterate people would have been thinking or doing. Now, on top of it, still the issues are still happening. Like it started from Amravati, Udaipur, Rajasthan, happened to somewhere else. Recently happened to Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. It's been keep happening other places as well. It recently happened in MP. I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but somebody sends that slogan to his father after his death and with the picture. And as well as on top of it, this person, that person's cell phone was used to share some slogans on Instagram as well. So, see, try and understand how difficult the situation is. Yesterday, we saw a kind of a conversation. There was a press club kind of thing. There was a kind of saying, or there was a kind of discussion with all Dharma Guru and all people from different religion. With almost most of the priests were there, then Mr. Ajit Doval was there. See, I did not want to get on that topic, but however, if we do not discuss it, it means that we are just trying to ignore it, and this is not the thing which can be ignored that easily. Because side by side here, while talking to you, I'm still getting messages here on Instagram, which has been talking about. Let's find out who has sent this message. On Instagram, there is a message that you've been favoring one kind of religion. But let me tell you very honestly, man, I have never been favored anybody. But yes, if I talk about something which is actually related to my religion, yes, I'm not going to favor it, but I'm here who should make you understand and make you aware about that, because I just being kind of a person who's actually belong to so and so religion, so I should know my religion. Same way, if I'm a Hindu, I should know my religion. If you are a Muslim, or if I'm a Muslim, so I should know my religion. If anybody ask any question or ask anything related to my religion, I should be confident enough to give the answer. Side by side, if I can get to know other information from other any languages or religion, I may go ahead and give you the answer. However, I will not be sure, because and you should not be taking it seriously, because if you want to make sure that thing, then talk about the expert of that religion, because I'm not here, I'm not a priest. I could have been a priest, but I'm not a priest. I just know my religion. If anybody asks about, or if anyone plays with the language, or tries to play with the religion, so I should be responsible to respond, right? So apart from that, if I talk about any other religion or anything else, man, see, this is a kind of free country. You can simply go ahead and search about that, or you're free to go with any priest or with any known person who can discuss about that. But the first point of contact should be your friends, because see, friends, whatever is happening as of now, we did not get any positive result for positive news or views from anybody about the friends. But still, I will talk about. See, if you are in this age wherein you do not have answer, you have n number of questions. First of all, discuss among your friends before discussing it with anybody else. If you are not satisfied, or if you did not get like a positive answer, or if you did not or if you do not get the proper answer for any particular thing, then only Go and ask somebody else. Otherwise, make sure that whatever questions you have in your mind or whatever you think about any particular topic or any particular thing which has actually not been clear, simply talk to your friends and get that cleared. Get your mindset right. Make sure, man, I'm telling you, these thing happens because of propaganda. There are people who are actually being paid. There are some countries who are actually trying that because they do not see that India is growing. See, whatever reason is, the people just hate Modi or BJP government. Maybe, maybe some reason that people do not like Prime Minister of India. Maybe there may be some reason that people do not like other religions. Maybe that may be possible. However, the harmony, the understanding, the surrounding, the understanding of people, the bounding of, or if we talk about the friendship, or if we talk about like our faith for one another, it's getting disturbed now. It's actually getting disturbed, and it's like a kind of it's kind of a kind of thing which is not been done by our country or our countrymen. It's been actually a kind of propaganda which is spread by other countries. They do not want India to grow that much as India is growing right now. Now, because of these issues, because of these issues of temple and mosque, because of this Hindu Muslim issue, because of this Hindu Muslim community, people are not just looking at the basic issues. Now you know that gas is like the prices are increased, 50 rupees increase. Even yesterday, I asked somebody to get my gas cylinder yesterday, and I paid him more than extra extra money. I had to pay. I did not know that. Why? Because I was involved. Actually, I was actively involved in all these things. I did not have any issue. I did not have that understanding. I did not have any kind of clue that there is a price high. Means there is a hike in the prices. So prices are high. If we talk about the petrol, it's expensive. India is getting petrol. See, India is getting crude oil from Russia. So in between there was a like I kind of there was a they decreased the price for almost 8 9 rupees or 10 rupees for petrol and 7 rupees almost for diesel. Now if you talk about the petrol prices again the same, it's not been decreased. If we talk about the jobs are not there. Government is giving loan. Go and get loan and do your business. What business would you do? If people do not have money to spend, what would you do? To what kind of business would you do? If people are dying, dying like for their nutrition. Try and understand. I'm not blaming anybody. See, maybe like any moment of time, if anyone is saying anything against the government or anything, so they take necessary action. That is fine. But I do not want to be on any negative side over here. Here, what I'm talking about that make sure, try and understand. First of all, the gas price is high. Second, the petrol price is not been decreased yet. Third is, if we were getting in India, we have like surplus. Electricity is actually surplus, and we are selling it to other countries as well, right? But if we talk about the same kind of electricity price, we do not get such kind of discount. It's not been decreased. Same moment of time, if we talk about the jobs, where are the jobs? Agnipath, we are talking about Agnipath people, just they made their own understanding. I just do not understand one thing, man. That if you were talking about Agnipath, what is Agnipath? You're getting like 4 years, you'll be skilled, Are you doing anything which is actually making sense? Getting spending your like 5 or 2 hours, 5 hours, 3 hours at the chai wala. It does not matter that the chai wala has become our prime minister, but spending time at the chai wala, spending time at model shop, spending and wasting your time with your friends, rather than wasting your time, why don't you get yourself trained and work for 4 years? Even there should be a mandatory, that should be a mandatory field that the Indian youngsters should serve to our country at least for 2 or 3 years. The same happens in Israel. Now see how strong that country is. Same should happen. It should be imposed to our youngsters to make sure that they are spending at least 2 or 3 years for our country. And once they start serving to our country, there will not be any kind of kuda kawal in their mind. There would not be any kind of scrap in their mind because they will have their clear vision. Once the vision is clear, then there will not be such kind of goof ups and shortcomings as happening right now. People, why? See, whenever these things been happening, that Nupur Sharma case, when Nupur Sharma case was happening, actually, people were getting involved, and those people were like the youngsters. If we talk about like 12 years to 35 years, and in this age group, if I talk about like 13 years, they were asked by somebody. But 18 years, they had their mind, but still they gone. Still they were there. However, same moment of time, if they will start serving for our country, they would not have such kind of mindset. Because in Indian Army, if I talk about, I know a number of people who are working right now, or people who are actually very dearest and nearest friends of mine who are serving to our country. When you talk to them, you will find nothing but patriotism. Means the Desh Bhakti, if we talk about patriot, they are actually patriot, and they would not have any kind of, their vision is clear, their mindset is clear, they will not be thinking about, even I'm talking about all the religion, not just any particular one, any particular one. No, even I'm talking about the people who are actually from Nepal, the Nepalese people. If I talk about the front, in the front you will find that Sikh army, Sikh regiment is there in the front. In the very front, if I talk about Sikh regiment, you will find Sikh regiment. You will find Gorkhas. Gorkhas are actually from Nepal, but they've been doing and they've been serving for our nation. They are from neighboring country from Nepal. They've been getting paid for it. But if you talk about their serving and their patriotism, they do not have any kind of hesitation, or their mindset is very clear. India first policy. And here, if we talk about our people who are actually spending time at the chai khoka, or spending time at the theka, or at the places like bottle shop, they've been talking about, yes, India has so many issues, we are not able to survive, and they are doing nothing. They're not spending a single dime for economy. They're not been paying like any taxes, but they do need everything. They need everything, but they do nothing. And they need everything, and their expectation is quite high. From, if you talk about, if I'm like, I'm not just talking about any regular people, I'm talking about everybody, everyone. Oh my God, India has these issues. There are Hindu-Muslim rights happening. There are so many issues. People do not have job. They're not able to feed their parents. They're not able to feed their child, their family members. Their livelihood is actually gone, which is somewhere true. Livelihood is not that good. If I still talk about, apart from my my patriot thinking, if I still talk about the issues, see, we actually do not have that much jobs available. It's very true, we do not have that much jobs available, and youngsters are actually struggling with that. But here, side by side, government is trying to give them loan to do a kind of business, so that other people will be employed as well, which is fine. However, there should be a kind of or a sort of job applications or should be there as well. And one more thing, that the difficulty is that population explosion. The population explosion, if we talk about that explosion, has been happening for past 2 or 3 decades, and our government means the government which we had earlier, like if we talk about the Congress government, it was our government. See, just do not get into Congress, BJP, or Samajwadi, or Mamta Banerjee, that Trinamool Congress, and all that. See, there was a ruling party. They had to take correct action. Very important part is when there was an emergency in 70s. If we talk about Indira Gandhi, it's like 50 lakh, means I'm just talking about the unknown resources. More than 50 lakh people had understand that, right? The Nasbandi thing happened. More than 50, which was like greater than what actually uh, Hitler did in Germany. It was like more than 15 or 20% more than what Hitler does. I'm sorry, Hitler did in Germany. So it was unexpected. And if we talk about the taking strict decisions, so Indira Gandhi was the person who was actually taking a strict decision without thinking twice. So she took that decision. So there was a kind of stabilization, means it was stabilized for a while, and after that, that stabilization or that stable time, after like 5-10 years, same thing started happening. When we were like in 1950s, if we talk about we had the population of like 35 crore. 35 crore is changed dramatically into 135 crore now. So you can understand, we have the same landscape, we have the same resources, limited resources, limited water. Like we have 4% of water across, if we talk about the globe, we have 4% of water available in our country. 18% landscape to talk about, means the population is 18%. Total, if we talk about the water, that is like 4%. Job, can't say anything because the people will start raising fingers against. But the resources are very limited. Try and understand. Resources are very limited, and in this limited resources, we need to make sure that our children, our grandchildren, or great grandchildren would be surviving in this limited resource. Now you think that will that be possible? It's not at all possible. If we do not make any corrective action plan for this, we are going to lose everything. There are people who are actually not literate or maybe blind in their faith. They just do not understand what actually they are doing. They just want to spend their life, and they are just thinking that after their life there is nothing. Means they just want to spend their life, that's it. And for their joy and enjoyment and for their faith, people are just regretting or facing these challenges. And these kind of people are there in each and every religion. Now, now what? Because of this limited resources, after some time, what's going to happen? You will not have like enough. Yeah, most important part is like last month there was a survey. There was an international survey. There was a kind of survey which is actually based on all the communities as well as the country and their economy, that they will be like kind of issue happens in future, like any hunger management kind of issue happens, means if maybe in future, if UN or any other country or any other kind of globalized power will try to do hunger management, in that moment of time, what all countries will have this kind of issue. And you know what? India was at the bottom, at the end, means India will not have this kind of issue at least for next 25 to 30 years, as per India. As per farmers, our farmers are putting all their nuts, means doing everything just uh, means they are not leaving any stone unturned to make sure that they do everything and they make good money, or they spend, or they do whatever they were expecting, or whatever they expected. And this population is actually moving to different places, means if they are from village, they are moving to cities, small cities. Not if they are from small cities, they are moving to big cities, and just changing their livelihood and changing their occupation. Now, to encourage this, do you think that government is doing anything except that Kisan bill? There was a conspiracy, huge conspiracy with that, and there was a kind of people were there on a strike for more than a year. But at the same moment of time, we still require like wheat. We still require uh, what we call that sugar. Yes, one more thing. If you do not know, let me tell you one thing. The very common language, Ganna, everyone knows, right? So Ganna is been used to prepare ethanol. Do you know ethanol? What is ethanol? Ethanol is a kind of byproduct, or a kind of thing which is getting used into petrol, and India government is targeting like 20% by 2025. But if we talk about right now, 10% is already been used, and because of that ethanol, the price may be reduced. And apart from that, Indian government is actually working apart from ethanol. Apart from the ethanol, they are working on hydrogen as well. In future, as per Mr. Gadkari, as per Mr. Gadkari, if I talk about the last conversation, not the last conversation, his last meeting which he attended, and as per his last speech as well, you will find that he was talking about the hydrogen. Hydrogen means the fuel which will not have any kind of byproduct. It will be prepared from water. It will not have any byproduct. There will not be any kind of pollution, and it will be like cost effective. Apart from that, it will be good to like what can we say? Like if we talk about the efficiency, or if we talk about the average, it will go like more than 100 for 1 liter or 1 kg. I do not know. I'm not sure about this, but whether it's like 1 liter or 1 kg, it will be the average will be more than 100. It means you try and understand that people who are actually dependent about on all these Gulf countries, and they would not be required that that much in future, because every now and then you see that they put a kind of sanction, or they go for low production, or whenever they want, they can make changes. And side by side, if I talk about, like, we were importing fuel or crude oil from Iran as well, but it's there are sanctions. We were importing fuel from other countries, Venezuela is also banned. So people cannot buy from Iran, they cannot buy from Venezuela, but they can buy from the US, they can buy from Gulf countries. What's that, man? Try and understand. So it's better to make sure that you do not need these things. And in like for next 50 years, as per the resources, if I talk about next 50 years, there will not be oil, there will not be crude oil. Only limited resources will be there, very limited resources across the globe. So you can understand, we cannot be dependent on these countries. And most of the time they try to bargain, and they try to put some they means whatever they want. If they have any intention for anything, so they try and put their pressure, they try to pressurize. India. So we are just trying to overcome from these situations. As for now, earlier we had like 2% of ethanol used in petrol. Now it is like 10% almost, which was expected in 2025. But before 2025, that India is been using like 10% ethanol into petrol. And moreover, apart from that, they are promoting electricity vehicle as well because today or tomorrow, sooner or later, India will have more expected like electricity. We already have surplus electricity and we are providing it as per demand to all other countries. So sooner or later it will be like increased. Once it is increased, then make sure that it will be for our welfare, means for our citizen, for our countrymen. It will be for our betterment, for our future. It will be saved somewhere. Apart from that, if we talk about the solar system, the solar means the kind of safe and green energy. India is on number second, I believe. It's like as of now, if we talk about the last report which I saw, it's on second number. It may be on first. Today or tomorrow will be on number one. So there are some proud moments as well. So India is getting, just improving itself, but we do require the contribution. We do require the contribution apart from all these religious perspective. If we talk about the people are just getting involved in this. See, man, if you really, really know about India, man, so first of all, see, I'm not just talking about the historians who are actually like piece of shit. Some historians are actually piece of shit. They have written up actually a scrap. You remember scrap is actually like a scrapbook. Scrapbook is like few historians are actually like piece of shit. They have just done like a kind of shit everywhere. You talk about they do not talk about the Vikramaditya. They do not talk about Chandragupta Maurya. They talk about the invaders. Do you know almost 40 countries from UN? From here, if we talk about the neighboring countries, India, Afghanistan, Pakistan was also a part, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Iran. Still, the queue is quite long. These were actually part of Bharatvarsh. And who was the king? King Vikramaditya. Nobody knows it. And nobody is teaching you. Why? Because they had the concept they never want to see. You guys are actually a kind of aim from across the globe. People who were jealous. And it's like if we talk about our history, see, very simple. You know Hanuman Chalisa and all things. If you talk about that, so the distance between from Earth to the solar system, or if we talk about the sun, the distance that distance has been disclosed 7 or 8 thousand years back. Apart from that, still, if we talk about the Panchangs gives you the exact time, exact location, and apart from the exact explanation, which if you try to consider or if you try to compare with, the measurement of NASA, it will be same. And these people are saying, and apart from that, which one thing, the very important part is, let's talk about the very important part, that one kind of object was sent from our universe to another domain to another universe, and it had all the things mentioned in the CD, means mentioned over there, which is clearly mentioning about our human tendency and about us. And the scientist who was doing it, he's saying that whatever we are doing it, whatever we are thinking right now, it's been already explained in the Shastra. So try and understand what you are actually. And people are just making us understand that you need to do that and you need to understand that. Do you think does it make any sense? You yourself do not know how great you were. And we believe in rebirth as well. People do not believe in rebirth. So the rebirth, if we talk about the rebirth, is something which has actually been explained. And if you talk about for a couple of other people, they would be telling you what actually has happened in their past, and they can tell you everything. And as per the Vedas and as per Upanishad, or if we talk about the as per our holy book, you will find that there were so many people. Even I'm just not just talking about, just don't go far away, just visit Haryana. You will find so many people who they have issue like me. They remember what they were actually in their past, even though I have met like two or three people. Because one my if I talk about my place, I live nearby my relative. If I talk about, that's my place, it's nearby Faridabad. If you visit Faridabad or like 2 or 3 kilometers away from there, you will find a guy who is actually like 14 years old. As of now, he may be like, yeah, 14, 15 years old. He knows about his wife and his son, and they are like 10 or 15 years old. And his age is like 14 years. He's talking about what he was. And apart from that, even my in my village, if I talk about in my village, I would say there is a labor who works there, who used to work there for just do not remember. He's been working for really very long. There is a community which is actually tribe community. So that tribe community is actually called Mushar. If anybody knows, if anybody is from Uttar Pradesh, Uttar UP, may know there is a tribe which is called Musar, and that boy knows somebody, and that is like not far away from that place. It's like 15 to 20 kilometers away from that village. And when he was asked to take their name and explain the issues which his family had, means as per the belief. So he explained everything. Even he explained he explained all the issues. Apart from that, whatever kind of things were hidden, even he found like very old monuments as well from the home. So if we talk about us, we are like somewhere else. It's like we just did not have like, so many things are against us, all the globe against us, people are against us. And now if you're talking about these days what actually been happening, the people, all other different countries and religion been trying to make sure that there should be some sort of a dramatic change, and they are trying their level best. People like some people actually from India are trying to help them as well. What a shame. They are doing the shameful activities and then they are proud to it because of their religion. I do not think so, because there are so many people from all the religions. Whenever we have any kind of concern, or whenever we do not understand, we simply ask one another and we discuss about everything freely. So I do not find any concept like this, but somewhere they are just not for like few countable people are just putting pressure on others, spoiling everything, means they are just, it's like my words are not enough to explain these things, because these stupid people are actually just wasting their time, as well as putting poison in somebody's ear, and that poison actually working right now, because we just do not understand. Some people do not understand what's actually wrong is. People who are actually like do not have that kind of understanding, or do not are not aware about things, they get involved in this. So let's just stop talking about them, because they do not require any. They just actually require the attention, which we do not to put any attention on them. So let's finish this topic today, because we are just moved from one topic to another topic, and this is actually not expected. So it's done from our side today. Let's talk about something else tomorrow, because this topic is not going to be finished. Next topic would be for one more thing, that for Mahatma Gandhi. Somebody asked me to do some research on Mahatma Gandhi and Nathuram Godse issue. So next topic would remain same. Next topic would be for Mahatma Gandhi and okay, then take care. Bye bye. फिर मिलते हैं भाई. राम राम.